Hello. I remember I was sitting outside my university campus and I had this strong desire to make something of myself. I never really felt belong at university. It just wasn't my world. I had this void that I'm in a wrong dimension and I couldn't wait to be in dimension of my own being, which was to create, to build, and start something of my own, being an entrepreneur. So I decided to venture into this world of business without absolutely knowing anything. I was barely entering the society for the first time as a young adult. The industry I chose to be in as an entrepreneur is a world of property and investment. It is traditional in many ways. It's a place where deals are still done in pubs by men, mostly in the late 50s. I felt I didn't belong. I felt like an outsider. I felt small. But I had to start somewhere, and my somewhere was literally nowhere because I knew I had to build everything from scratch. Forming a team, raising external capital from day one, building a required infrastructure, everything was purely from the fragment of my imagination. My vision was my only best friend. I felt fierce, but looking back, I was naive. I was jumping from the top of the mountain without knowing how high I was jumping from. And this is how I started my entrepreneur journey at the age of 22, fresh out of university, from a foreign land. But I was committed to make my vision come to real life. This was my narrative about myself. But what was the outside narrative? How did others perceive me? Beginning of my journey, I faced a lot of rejections, meeting many potential stakeholders, one after the other. Most of them telling me, Arya, you're not even from this world of property investment and development. You just got out of university. You have zero experience. We don't think you can make this happen. And you're not even from here. All of this outside narrative was just a noise to me because my inner narrative was, I believe in myself. I'm a problem solver. I can do this. Bet on me. My drive will surpass any challenges. I will learn on the way. Bet on me. I will be that girl. No, I am that girl who will bring about the change in the industry required. I am that underdog. Bet on me. The narrative we tell ourselves is so important and powerful that it literally creates your own physical reality. My story is not unique, not at all. It's actually mine, it's actually yours. We are all subjected to internal and external narrative, but it's the narrative that we choose that defines our lives. And as we go through this beautiful journey of life, we have two choices. We can either pick up the mask that's given to us by the outsiders, or we can choose a mask of our own being. Now, most of you must be wondering, what is the narrative in the first place? What does it mean? A narrative is defined through the power we give to the words. Let me give you another example. Again, I was at the beginning of my entrepreneur journey. I remember meeting a bunch of entrepreneurs slightly in advanced stages of their businesses. And one of them thought I was crazy that I'm starting a Fintech lending platform in property development where most of the existing players have massive capital backing them, or the existing founders are ex-bankers in their late 40s with huge network and experience. How are you going to make it happen? I didn't blame him for his analysis. He was right, I was crazy. But when he felt sorry for me and said, it's okay even if you can't make it, and your first venture doesn't need to be successful, it hurt. It hurt real bad, even if I knew it didn't come from the wrong intention. But later that evening, I remembered first of his few ventures hadn't taken off. So, what he said to me wasn't about me, my ambition, or even my capabilities at all. It was about his own life experiences. And that is what the face value of the narrative is. It's how others create narratives about you. Sometimes is merely reflection of their own life experiences, or sometimes it's merely projection and limitation of their very own fears. However, it's easy to fall into victim mindset when negative narrative is constantly being thrown at you. I have been on that side of the victim mindset as well. So the idea here is not to completely ignore the face value of the narrative, but is to choose and identify which bits are actually valuable to you, are constructive, and will help you grow in your journey. We all choose narratives that lead us to different life paths and outcomes. But it is the narrative that we tell ourselves that matters the most. I would like to share a quote here by famous Confucius. The man he thinks he can and the man he thinks he can't, both are absolutely correct. So it's really, the bottom line is really, is the storyline that we gift ourselves is what matters. By now, most of you have hopefully grasped this at a conceptual level. But how do we really practice this in real life? Being consistent with your inner value and narrative takes practice. It's not a switch that you can just turn on and the magic is done. It does take practice. But the good news is that if you do it multiple times, it becomes part of who you are. What I would like to end here is share the tools I've learned along my journey, which has helped reset my own mindset. Number one is about catching yourself, your default narrative setting, and two is about reframing. So be conscious and aware of your dominant negative narrative, thoughts, questions, and self criticism. And second is replace or rather reframe them with a narrative that empowers you and is the most authentic to yourself. You will fall off the track. It will happen. But remember to be kind and compassionate to yourself and get back on the track sooner rather than later. The choice is yours. So the bigger question is, are you going to choose the mask of your own making? Thank you.